Welcome guys to my YouTube channel. I'm Eudasia, aka Deja70, and today we're with the writer of The Tears I Cried, aka my daddy, Utah Taylor Roll. Welcome to my channel.
It is an honor to be on your channel. You're doing some big things. I am just humbled that you would choose to include me.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are shy away from having their parents do this, so I feel honored.
Yeah, so today we're talking about absent fathers, and definitely, I feel like you were one of the best candidates to talk about it because you've been through it. And your book has definitely been something that has inspired a lot of people because I feel like it's important for us to start a conversation in order to break these cycles that I would have mentioned about in my last video. So tell me about your experience of not having a dad, and when did you find your dad?
Now, you may cause me getting a little bit of problems here, but I have to share this because my purpose, the reason why I went through this is to be able to help somebody. You know, I have some people who don't like when I bring this up, but
Right.
I have to. Now, not having a father in my life was pretty much like hell on earth, you know, because it was such a vast void in my life that I didn't even know my identity. You know, it was a pounding desire. I mean, I can't even express. I used to say a prayer over and over every night. Dear Lord, please help me find my daddy. Dear Lord, please help me find my daddy. I started to dislike my siblings because they had their father in their life and I didn't have any.
So at what age did you find your dad?
I found my first daddy. I got two daddies. I found my first daddy at the age of 21. The one whom my mom told me was my daddy. I found him at the age of 21. And from 21 to 34, I tried to establish a real father and son relationship with him, but he always only treated me like a friend, you know, like a homeboy or like somebody from Exuma, you know. And
So what
that
age did
crushed
you,
me.
what age did you find your second daddy?
34.
Wow.
34 years to find my biological father.
So in a previous video, I mentioned that hurt people, and the cycle just continued, and it's this one toxic cycle. How do you feel that that manifested in you, and how did you start to break the cycle?
I believe, honestly, really and truly, that my mom, this is my belief, I believe that the person who she told me was my daddy, I believe she really and truly thought he was my daddy. You know, because what transpired, you know, she didn't used to talk too good about him. You know, she always said, "Oh, that old dog, God could deal with him," you know, and this and that, right? So I believe she truly believed he was my father. You know, but she held on to that information for so long before she even released and told me who my father was. You know. When she did, I went on a quest to try to find him, and man, I can tell you, I picture it right now, you know, writing letters. We didn't, back in the days, you had to write letters through the PO box. And I remember looking in the phone book for his address, and I found it, and I wrote letters after letters. I remember every day going to the post office, checking our post office box to see if there was any return letter, and it was always the same. I got so depressed one time, I walked out to the government dock, which is right close to the post office, and I contemplated jumping overboard and killing myself.
Oh, wow. So definitely, how did you start to break the cycle of this hurt and this toxic cycle?
After finding my first dad, and it really began after a time when, you know, I found him and I had you. The reason why I didn't have children earlier, as most of my classmates did, was because I needed to know my identity. I needed to know who I was, and I still wasn't sure. But I remember the time when you were born, and I took you in a carrier. I picture it right now. I went to my first dad's house in Carmichael Road, and I said, "Dad, this is your granddaughter, Eudasia." And, you know, he take one little glance, and he walk off. I was crushed. I was hurt. I was like, I felt like I was garbage. No, I felt like I was garbage juice. That's how bad I felt, because I was like, he didn't show me. I see how he interacted with my brother child. I saw he interacted with my siblings, but it's like he allowed me to come around, but he didn't give me that fatherly love which I was craving hungry for so long.
So what role do you think a father should play in a child's life?
A father has to be, first, an example. Second, he has to be someone that his children can look up to and respect. A lot of parents want respect, but they don't want to give it. You have to give respect. And you have to also realize that you all are individuals.
Right.
Your child is going to have different thoughts, different emotions, different feelings from you. And if you want them to respect you, you have to respect them. You know, you got to be, and I may have already said it, but you have to set an example. You have to lead. You have to guide. You have to direct. You have to protect. But you also have to release. You have to release them to become their own self.
Who did you look up to in that case? And did you feel like you were battling with your identities?
Boy, I had a crazy battle with my identity because I wanted to know who I was, especially growing up in Exuma in the 80s. Our family, we didn't have a lot of males in our family, older males. And my granddaddy, but he was more on the passive side. The woman them run things, so Grumpy just let them have their way. But
Right.
I did get one thing from him, if it was only one thing. It was being a hard worker and a go-getter. My granddaddy would rise from 6 a.m. He would be in the Navy base in his garden working 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. 6 days a week. He took one day off, that was Sunday. I knew my purpose was to be able to reach out to people, to be able to uplift people, to strengthen people, but I didn't know that it would have been in the pulpit where I am today. So I just want to let you know now, I'm writing a second book. It's called From the Pit to the Pulpit. It's going to be out next year. You know, but you got to try to. The only way you could find your purpose, you first got to know your identity. If you never know your identity, you will never know your purpose. You will wander around aimlessly.
Yep.
You know, and that's what happened to me for many, many, many years. But I can tell you, even though it took me 34 years to find my biological father, when I found him, my life began to align.
Did you ever start to look up to bad influences?
Boy, that's what captured me. That's what kind of even led me more astray. Because of the void in my life, I started to look up to my cousins, and I can call some of their names. I can call names like my cousin Pedro, God rest his dead. He's dead now. And my cousin, we used to call him Lil Jack. You know, he's now Prophet Clinton Micklewhite. You know, Lil Jack them was big time drug dealers and they had the motorbikes.
Look at that.
You know, and my cousin Ricky, and then there was the other guys who had the Mustangs and the 300ZX and, you know, the IROC Z and the Pontiac and all of them.
Oh, goodness.
I was into cars and I was into bikes, you know, and you know, what that come along with that, the selling the drugs and stuff.
Oh, gee. Did you finally feel accepted? Did that fill the void that you had?
Couldn't fill the void. Couldn't even, I still wasn't even really accepted like
Oh, gee.
Nope.
That's very interesting. So going back to your mom, do you feel that, how do you think things would have gone if there was more free talking, honest conversation,
And
listening to how you really felt?
And that's just the thing, you know, with my mom, my mom was not an easy person to approach. That was her nature. And so there couldn't have been no free talking. Even I remember at the time when I did the DNA with my first dad and it came back saying 0% he's not the father. And I tried to talk to my aunties, those, to see if they could talk to my mom. And they appeared to be very afraid. They said, just leave it alone, let it go. You know, you didn't come this far. Come on, man. What the hell you mean I didn't come this far? What you mean let it go? You know, when I think about this, Udesha, I start to get a little angry because I'm having flashbacks of that. Here it is. I don't know who I is. For 21 years, I didn't know who I was, and then I found the person who I thought was my father. Tried to develop a relationship only to be treated like an outsider. And then I only go on and do that DNA test because I said to myself, when this come back showing that he is my daddy, he can give me the love that I wanted. Came back 0%. I almost dead.
Oh, wow. At any point, did you feel that you didn't know your purpose?
I did, for most of my life, I felt like I didn't know my purpose, Udesha. I ended up joining the gangs. I was on the blocks. I did all kind of foolishness. I mean, everything that you could name, I did. Any negative thing to try to fill that void. Stuff that I didn't even believe that I did. I don't want to say this, but I would say maybe it made me promiscuous. Let me say this. Promiscuous, which meaning that I would not hang up too long in a relationship. I did stuff. I did stuff that I didn't even want to do, but I had to do it.
To try to fill the void. So did that make you feel, not having a dad, did it make you feel unwanted?
Especially if we go back to Exuma, back in the Exuma days, I really felt unwanted because I felt like my mom didn't like me because, I had to dump the garbage, I had to clean the bathroom, I had to wash the dishes. I mean, yes, I was the oldest, but I felt like she really was just picking on me. And then I tried to get into the clique with my boys from Georgetown, and it's like I couldn't get in the clique with them. I was like an outsider until I found out that I had a talent, which was music. And I started to write songs, and the guys would gather around lunchtime at the high school, and they would just drum. We had a shed where we'd eat lunch, and they just do the beat.
And you'd go in.
What's the tone?
Okay.
Who said Trilla, Fredda Syndicate? Who said Trilla, Fredda Syndicate? I was walking down the road with a straw basket, drinking apple juice and munching biscuit. I took a look over yonder, me say, what did I see? 3 syndicate come and try to catch me. and that made me popular. And they started to notice me. And then they also realized I had 2 other talents. I was smart. I studied. And so they would pay me to do their homework.
Do the work.
And then I was good with poetry.
Okay.
And so when they had a little crush on a little girl or something, they would come to you. I would write the letter and I write the poem, Lips so sweet, words can't express. Every smile become a drop of dew. Eyes so still and mystical. Oh gosh, how I long for you.
So what would you say to the young men and women who would have been in your shoes?
Well, first I want to start off, and I may be jumping the gun, but I want to talk to the parents first. You need to listen to your children. It's extremely important to listen. A lot of parents, they hear their children, and they have this saying where the children ought to be seen and not to be heard, and they always say, just let it go, leave it alone. That's garbage. Your child is an individual. You need to set yourself aside. We always worrying about us, and since I'm an adult, it's all about me. You do what I say do. No. Stop hearing your children, but listen to them. I never understand some situations that you were going on, some patches in our relationship until we had that
about it.
Talk. And not just talk, because I'm a talker. I listened. I listened to you, and I believe you were a talker too, and you listened to me.
Oh boy.
And you were able to see the based on miscommunication that we were.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
So it's important to listen.
And what would you say to those fathers who may have been absent but want to come back into their child's life?
You got to make the step. You got to take that step regardless. Think about the child. Don't worry about the mom. Yes, the mom may have you in court for child support. Yes, the mom may call you a deadbeat and no good dad. But you are a deadbeat and no good dad if you're in your child's life. But you could fix that.
Yes.
Whether you have the finances, it ain't all about the money, It's about that time. It's about that call. I can tell you, as grown as I am, my father called me about 3 or 4 Sundays ago, whenever that was with that when we had that serious thunderstorm, and the phone rang, and it was my daddy voice. I panicked. I thought something happened. He said, I called just to check up on you, just to check up on you, and that meant a whole lot to me. So just call your child. Just have a conversation with them. Just go and pick them up, take them out, spend some time with them, even if you don't have the money
to do it.
I want to speak to you mothers out there. You need to reach out to the men in not a demeaning way. A lot of men are deadbeat because they know that you expect them to be deadbeat. Speak life into them. Boy, one thing I could always say, and every opportunity I get, I share this. Eudacia, Valerina, my wife, grandmother, was a wise woman. And my mother-in-law, they were wise. My mother-in-law always say, not my good, decent one son-in-law. Yeah. She always said that to me, even when I wasn't decent. And I wasn't married yet. But she caused me, she speak life, she caused me to become that good, decent son-in-law. So speak life into your children's fathers.
Any last words for you?
Thank God for every experience I had. I thank God for the downfalls. I thank God for the trials. I thank God for everything, because all of that has made me better and has molded me for the position that God has called me for. There was two major things that Jesus preached when he was on this earth. He preached love and he preached forgiveness.
Yes.
So if you could find it in your heart to forgive, find it in your heart to love, and you will feel so much better.
Yes.
And if by chance you don't even know your purpose yet, your purpose will begin to be revealed.
For sure. Well, thank you guys for coming to this video on Deja 70. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. And definitely, I feel like you are an example of what it is to break a cycle. And obviously, this is an everyday thing. Every day you have to put your foot forward to continue to break the cycle. But it's so important that we have more conversations like these, because this is how the cycle gets broken. And I hope when I have my kids, definitely it could be in the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming to this episode. As I said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Bye, guys.
I said daddy's like, I gotta have the last thing. You said when you get your kids, 5 of them. I want five.
No.
5 grandchildren.
One. Uno.
You said kids. You said kids.
I did. Uno. Kid. All right, bye, guys.